Thank you for joining us on this edition of Represent NYC on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. I'm City Council Member Ben Kallos, and I represent New York City Council District 5, which includes the Upper East Side, Midtown East, parts of El Barrio, and Roosevelt Island. Today I'm joined by activists who have been deeply involved in one of the most important issues in our community, the fight against the 91st Street Marine Transfer Station. The Marine Transfer Station is unique in that it is planned in a highly residential neighborhood instead of an industrial zone. The station is being built in the midst of a playground where 30,000 children, a public housing development with 1,173 units, and within feet of 16 schools. It's also reflective of a model of handling waste that is outdated and harmful. The city's plans to put these garbage transfer stations in communities rather than working to reduce our trash and build an environmentally sustainable city across the city, communities have come together to say this is simply not a good way to dispose of our trash. My guests today are Regine Lacourt, a resident of Stanley Isaacs and Holmes Tower, a NYCHA development in my district, and a community activist, Kelly Nimmo-Gunther, the president of Pledge to Protect, a community group leading the fight against the Marine Transfer Station, and a leading advocate for a more sustainable city, and Milagros Velasquez, the vice president of NYCHA Homes Towns Tenants Association. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to learn a little bit about how each of you got involved in the fight against this Marine Transfer Station.
Well, I guess I'll start because the three of us have been working together for quite some time. So I'm a mom, and I have daughters who play at a facility, Asphalt Green. For the viewers who don't know, Asphalt Green is a sports recreation facility located right next to where this Marine Transfer Station or garbage dump will be located, with playgrounds, swimming pools, and as you said, over 34,000 kids who play. And my children are two of those children. So I became aware of the issue, and as a mom, I decided I needed to become more knowledgeable about the issue. And what I've discovered and learned is we have a very dangerous situation, not only for this community, but for all of New Yorkers. So that's how I became involved, and I started the organization Pledge to Protect.
Thank you so very much. And Regine?
I got involved at a community event that was going on in regards to Pledge to Protect. They were having an outreach to try to get the Yorkville community neighbors informed about the Marine Transfer Station and the hazards that it will cause the neighborhood. And when I heard, about, how severe it was going to be, I had to get involved as a mother of 3 girls who live in the community, and also one who's not well. My health is not well. I'm not a well person. So I just knew that it would be the right thing for me to do, was to join the Pledge to Protect, the organization, so that I can try to use my voice as well to speak out to the people in my development and to people around and let them know that this is just not a right thing that the city is doing.
Thank you. And Milagros?
Hi. Well, I met Kelly at a gathering of community leaders and concerned people in the neighborhood, and she had came to me with the idea of Pledge to Protect and how NYCHA, New York City housing residents from Holmes Towers would respond to that, and we jumped on board, and ever since then we've been, fighting the good fight against this Marine Transfer Station.
We were there day one together. Yeah. We announced it day one together.
Yeah.
And so, Pledge to Protect, can you tell us a little bit about the pledge and how many people have signed it?
Right, we're an organization of over 31,000 people, of over 30 organizations who have signed on. And the people who have signed on are very concerned about New York City and the way that we're handling our solid waste. And everybody who's signed on says that they want to pledge to protect. They're pledging to protect the people in New York City who are directly impacted by the way that we do this in an archaic system. And they're pledging to protect, to stand up and unite our voices, to learn and help with the city in developing new solutions for more sustainable, cost-effective solutions.
And so far, what has been the effect of your movement?
You know, we Pledge to Protect has been great. As we said, we've joined so many people, and we've made this a fight that New York City is listening to. That we're meeting with the mayor, we're meeting with his administration, and what we've been clearly been able to do and outline in a report that we have called Talking Trash, and it can be seen on our website at pledgetoprotectnyc.org. In Talking Trash, what we really uncover are the true facts about the solid waste. The solid waste management plan that's been put together was originally started in 2002, approved in 2006. We're in 2014.
Yeah.
It is an archaic system. It deals primarily with how to move the waste around and not with a reduction of waste. Laudable goals. We like the goals that we need to reduce the harm to communities that have been overburdened to date. But what's happening is they're not getting any relief and benefit. But what we're doing is we're creating new harms on new communities at an astronomical cost to taxpayers.
And thanks for bringing up the Talking Trash report. It's a great read, and all the viewers should go read it at pledgetoprotect.com. It has a lot of facts and figures. What did the report show about the impact of this 91st Marine Transfer Station on those overburdened communities?
Well, where it certainly has come out, and would love my friends here, my colleagues to jump in, but what really has been pointed out is that we have health issues, we have safety, we have even Hurricane Sandy has been a major impact, the cost to taxpayers. All of this has come out in this report, and what it clearly articulates is that this plan is not right for New York City. And the people that really are some of the most impacted are both Regine and Milagros in the community and the public housing where they are, because they're going to be located within 300 feet of this facility. And the city's own regulations say that you cannot put facilities like this so close to public housing, so close to playgrounds, so close to the schools. Yeah. And yet the city is skirting its own regulations and still plowing ahead and building this facility here when their own regulations say that they shouldn't.
Thank you for that. So you mentioned some of the residents that are at risk. So Regine and Milagros, both of you live in Holmes Towers, which is a NYCHA development. That's also on the same site as Stanley Isaacs, another NYCHA development. How many people live in this development?
Over 2,200 people live in this development, and those are the ones who will be impacted the most, being that they're so near this thing that's going up, the transfer station that's going up. And the ones who are going to be impacted the most are the seniors, the kids, and who use the public space around the neighborhood, who go to these schools that are located in the neighborhood, who use the facility at Asphalt Green. It's going to be really, really hard, and those are the people who are affected the most, the ones who will have anybody to defend them, to speak up for them, because they're either really young or already ill to the point where they don't have that strength to fight. So, I'm here to fight for them, those who can't represent themselves. People are forgotten about. That neighborhood is really overlooked and classified wrongly. They don't give the development any thought to how it affects the people who live there and the people that I represent, the tenants, the residents, the neighborhood as a whole.
And so when you're looking out your window at Holmes Towers, what do you usually see? Well,
I happen to live towards the back, which faces the water, so I have a beautiful view of the Marine Transfer Station that goes up.
So the city is literally building a Marine Transfer Station, a garbage dump, across the street outside the window of the NYCHA development with 22,000 people.
And I live, my view, some of it faces the back, and then it also swings around to First Avenue too. So, and I'm on a low floor, so it's bad enough that it's a lot of congestion in the neighborhood. We have a very high asthma rate, which is 18%. I believe it's one of the most highest in the nation. In the nation. It's a lot of already truck traffic going down First Avenue, so there's a lot of pollutants in the air, and so when I look out of my windows, it's not only am I seeing the Marine Transfer Station and the FDR with the cars passing, you also have First Avenue. So it's like NYCHA, our developments are surrounded, we're like surrounded by pollution. And it's really bad because we're in a dense neighborhood as it is. It's dense, there's so many tall buildings. This is not the right place to put something like this at all. They really need to take consideration of the people, the residents, someone like myself that's ill. I have a very complex heart condition, so my breathing issues are off. It's the carcinogens that the garbage trucks will give off. It will harm us even more. It's dangerous. It's just dangerous.
And what we know about that, what we've learned too, and as part of the Talking Trash report, is that, as Milagros said as well, the kids and the seniors are the most vulnerable. And we have so many. These trucks, both in building, constructing the site, and in operating, give off particulate matter pollution at 2.5. Yeah. We know that is a carcinogen, and we know that kids who exercise, and which they're doing at this facility, Asphalt Green, so the kids that exercise are breathing faster normally because they're kids, they're breathing even faster because they're exercising, and they're breathing in this particulate matter at 2.5 that does not come out of the lungs. So we are putting these kids not only in danger of these pollutants for lifelong acute illness, we're also putting them in danger because of the safety. We have up to 500 trucks operating at capacity. Up to 500 trucks will be entering this facility right in between a field where they play, a playground, and a swimming pool, and compete with these kids who have to cross this ramp. Nowhere in New York City, nowhere in the nation, and I would beg to say nowhere in the world, I'd be interested to see that you see a facility, an industrialized facility like this, competing with this many people. There's over 1 million visits a year at this facility, and that's right there at that spot, competing with up to 500 trucks.
We all know that garbage trucks have blind spots. There's kids here. God forbid a child gets hit. What are you going to say to a parent?
And I think that's one of the items that all of us are fighting against, making sure that our kids can be safe. And so whose kids are these? How many of them, and where are they coming from that are playing here at Asphalt Green?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, the kids come from all 5 boroughs. So when we talked about the facility of Asphalt Green, it's a phenomenal facility, and they serve all kids in all 5 boroughs.
My kids are there too. They're there too, so they have to cross the street. It's horrible.
And it's 30,000 plus children, and they do recess enhancement, and in fact they even trained Leah Neal, who won a bronze medal. She's right out of Brooklyn. She did a long commute to train every day, and that's where we train Olympians to represent America before the world. And you're right, this is like nowhere else in the world or anywhere else in New York City. And in fact, you led a tour, Pledge to Protect led a tour of waste transfer stations all across New York City. And we have a video of that tour that we'd like to show to our viewers today. So please enjoy. We're on Staten Island. We're at the New York City Department of Sanitation Staten Island transfer station, and we're being shown how things are working in Staten Island and why it won't be so bad on the Upper East Side, but it's pretty bad here, and the good news is that nobody lives here. We're in the middle of the Fresh Kills landfill.
I think that the purpose of today's tour is excellent for everyone to get to see what a functional and operational marine transfer station looks like, what it smells like, what it sounds like, so that they can make an informed decision in the communities that will be impacted. And also I think a concern is that often these types of facilities are placed in communities that are already overburdened and in environmental justice communities. And I think that the siting of facilities should be the primary concern when we're doing this. We know that there's a need for them, but we really need to take into consideration the environmental impact that it's going to have on communities where they're located.
And having just seen this video, can you tell us a little bit about why this site is like nowhere else in the city? Is there anywhere else that has as many people living near it?
Right. If you take the solid waste management plan and you look at all their planned facilities, this one facility at East 91st Street in Manhattan, take all the other facilities and add them together, it has the most amount of children, the most amount of seniors, the most amount of public housing, the most amount of schools, the most amount of minority residents, talking about environmental justice. You know, I think a lot, these guys, I hear their voices so often in our protests and when we go and do interviews. I mean, we talk about our neighbors here with the NYC housing as forgotten people.
Yeah, basically it seems like no one cares that we're really there. It's like they're not acknowledging us. You know, they keep using this, you know, site. It's like a political symbol, you know. It's as if, okay, this is the Upper East Side. This is where, you know, we have rich white people and folk where they live, and, you know, let's just stick it to them because every other borough has their, and that's not the case because I'm NYCHA, she's NYCHA, we're here. There's a bunch of us that live here, you know? So that's not the truth. And we're the ones that's gonna be the most affected because we live so close to it. We're right there next to it, you know? So they need to stop this with this upper, you know, East Side classism business because NYCHA folks are here. And I'm a voice of NYCHA, so I'm letting everyone know that, you know, NYCHA residents are here.
Thank you for being that voice, and hopefully our viewers will hear it, and hopefully we'll have other NYCHA leaders hear this and hear your calls so that we can stand united as a city. Is this the only marine transfer station that that you're focused on, or is this bigger than just this one site?
Right. Well, we certainly started focusing on this one because this is the one that we all were first obviously introduced to and due to the fact that it affected our personal lives. But as we kept getting into the issue, we know that one of the other transfer stations is the Southwest Brooklyn one. And, you know, that site as well, even though we're more than all the other facilities planned together, we have the most impact. They are the second ones, and they have 5 public housings right near them within a mile. I think all our statistics talk about a quarter mile, but they also need to be looked at for their environmental impacts. There's some major issues with their facility and building it there, and we know that they're also in dialogue with the mayor and the city to talk about the uniqueness of their facility. But in the end, right, we all are banding together to say that we have a progressive mayor. We have a mayor that doesn't have to inherit the Bloomberg solid waste management plan. We have a progressive mayor who should be really looking at the facts and figure out, we should be a city. We have a city of 8 million people. And we need to reduce the amount of garbage we produce. With 8 million people, we only reduce 15% of we only recycle 15% of our garbage. The national average is 35%. You've got cities like Los Angeles, 46%. You've got countries like Austria up to 57%. It is abysmal that this city, being a leader in the nation and a leader in the world, should be coming up with a more modernized solution on how to handle our waste.
That was one of the best findings that I found in Talking Trash, and Is there any incentive to it? Will the city save any money by recycling?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because they will. In just 1 year, if New York City could just get to, let's say, Los Angeles rates, we could save $90 million a year. And if you look at the cost of what they're putting into this facility, of which it's not going to achieve the goals it outlines, it started out at a cost to build it at $45 million. That is ballooned to $245 million, and that's just to build it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you've got to operate it. When it's up, right now we process our garbage at $90 per ton. When it's up and operational, the cost to New York City taxpayers, $238 per ton. This is ridiculous to be spending this kind of money for a facility that in years will be obsolete if we can reduce our trash. And they said, you know, New York City will never stop smoking. We did.
Yeah.
New York City can recycle, can reduce our tonnage, can compost. It will make these facilities completely obsolete, and we do not need to be spending this money.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for doing so much research and finding an alternative to having these marine transfer to landfill stations. And in terms of all the money that they want to spend here, we just had Sandy, and if you can tell us a little bit about the flooding and what happened in this neighborhood where they're going to put this marine transfer station.
Well, it just so happens to be, since my window faces the back, I actually saw the river coming up onto the FDR,
There was no
kissing
Yeah.
the back door. You know, my building was lucky enough not to be as harmed as the surrounding buildings in the development, where people had no elevators. These developments are at least 25 floors high. No electricity, no water, you know, and it was for a few days, if not a week. So people had to live that way, and it was really, really scary. At one point, a resident had to save a cab driver who was stuck in the water because it had gotten so bad. You know, he came out of his building and he went and he rescued him. But it's really, really bad. So the thought of them building a marine transfer station right at the edge of the water at a flood zone where anything can happen, it's a really scary thought, you know, if something like that was to happen again, which is more than likely gonna happen again. If not, you know, soon. There's going to be garbage floating around in the streets, you know, putting people at risk, health-wise and safety-wise.
And Councilmember, this new facility, so Hurricane Sandy happened after they approved this facility. This facility is now going to be 6 feet, almost 6 feet below the flood level plane, the new flood level plane. This facility, as the city's plowing ahead to build it, should be raised 6 feet to protect the community where they're building this.
But they've already started the platform, so.
So what are they doing? So they said that they're going to waterproof the first level. So apparently there's some waterproofing retardant that you put about it, but by the city's own admission and their own report, it's not a foolproof solution.
Well,
so
that's
they're
the
at risk.
same. The city also said they was going to spray something in the air so that we won't smell the trash now. The question is, what are we going to smell? What is it that they're spraying?
Right. And so this all sounds horrible. It sounds like a nightmare. Over the summer, Pledge to Protect has been leading protests. If you could tell us a little bit about it, about your experience.
Well, we're out there, and we're out there again, like I said before, to let our voices be heard, and you know, to stand firm in what we believe, and which is the fact that this marine transfer station should not be there, because it's going to affect us. And I myself was, along with Kelly, and now there's been about almost 20-something people who have been arrested for civil disobedience, because you know, we really stand firm and we believe and we know that this right here, that's what's going on, it's wrong. You know, we don't want to become ill, we don't want our children hurt, we don't want to have garbage sitting right there in front of our windows. It's just not, it's not appropriate, you know, it's just not right. So we all got together, and you know, we come out and we picket, and we there to, as symbolism, to let people know that we're not going away. You know, you may think that, you know, we might be a little bit quiet sometime behind the scenes, but you're going to keep seeing Pledge to Protect. You're going to keep seeing people like myself that are adamant that just do not want this, and we're residents, and we should not have to deal with this.
At some point, we need to be heard. We're,
yeah,
you know, voices of a group of people who
Right.
have been overlooked and forgotten.
right, right.
Thank you so very much for exercising your First Amendment rights to free speech, and thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice of your freedom and having to engage in civil disobedience and being arrested. We've completed a whole month of just doing this with Pledge to Protect, and just want to thank all of you for joining us on this show. I'm proud to be a part of this fight and to support Pledge to Protect and my residents. What can viewers do to join the cause, take the pledge? Where can they go and how can they get involved?
Well, thanks. Yes, what we'd like viewers to do is go to pledgetoprotectnyc.org. Again, pledgetoprotectnyc.org. And on there, you'll see a way to take action. That's the button you push, and you sign up. You take the pledge that you want a more sustainable solution and you want New York to modernize its approach. And the amazing thing is we have representation of the 31,000 people from all over New York City. We at Pledge to Protect are fighting for all New Yorkers. Yes, we were introduced into our community, but as we've shown in the Talking Trash report, this is all about all New Yorkers.
Thank you. This has been a great discussion, and I would like to thank Kelly-Onimo Gunther, Regine Lacourt, and Milagros Velasquez for providing their insights into this important issue. If you want to learn more about this issue, please visit benkallos.com/MTS as well as pledgetoprotectnyc.com, or you can contact my office directly at bkallos@benkallos.com or call me at 212-860-1950 about this or any other issue in our district. I'm City Council Member Ben Kallos, and thank you for watching Represent NYC on Manhattan Neighborhood Network.